For hundreds of years, the 6 states of New England have been a gateway to the New World. Its Atlantic coastline means that water has shaped the region's history. Ships making their way across the Atlantic would invariably stop here first, including perhaps the most famous one of all, the Mayflower.
I think the fascination that Americans have with this ship is the perception that this is the beginning of our country, but it really does give the germ of what is the promise of what the United States becomes, and that's the land of opportunity.
Travel a few miles down the coast and you'll hit Newport in Rhode Island, which claims to be the sailing capital of the world, and a trip round the harbour tells you why.
The nice thing about Newport is you can see, looking around you here, that it attracts everything from small 15, 20-foot sailboats up to the 200-300-foot mega yachts and everything in between. And the reason why sailing started here in the first place from the late 1800s, the wind here is just so consistent. And that's why Newport still attracts all of these small and large sailing events. This summer we had the America's Cup World Series that was held here. Every day of that race was just spectacular.
In fact, you can visit the home of a famous America's Cup yachtsman. Harold Vanderbilt was once the owner of Marble House, one of the town's famous Newport mansions.
Marble House was built as a summer cottage for William and Alva Vanderbilt. And she was a leading society hostess of the time, and she was determined to build the most beautiful house, the most opulent house, and a place that would cement the family's place in American society. This house certainly did that. Harold Sterling Vanderbilt was the Vanderbilt's youngest son. He grew up and became one of America's great sailors. In fact, he won the America's Cup 3 times in the 1930s and won dozens and dozens of other important sailing races.
Final stop, a place whose name alone arouses curiosity, Mystic Seaport.
This is Mystic Seaport, the Museum of America and the Sea, which is the largest maritime museum in America.
It is in fact still a working seaport with wonderful boats within a vintage setting.
Here we actually have the real thing. You can smell the wood, you can touch it. The total collection of vessels that we have, of watercraft, is slightly more than 500. A fraction of them we have on the grounds, docked along the Mystic River. We try to tie it together for our visitors to get an understanding how the sea has improved the life of the Americans.
Mystic Seaport really is a fascinating place. They've got the authenticity down to a T here. The sights, even the sounds. Anyway, as they say in the world of show business, end on a song.
Well, I've been a sea cook and I've been a clipper man. I can sing, I can dance, I can walk the jibboom, handle a harpoon and cut a fine figure. Whenever I get in a boat standing room, we'll rant and we'll roar like true Yankee whaler man. A rant and we'll roar on deck or below to East Sight Gay Head on Old Martha's Vineyard. Straight up the channel to New Bedford we'll go.